Here are 5 lessons that you can take away from Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. So Jocko Willink, if you're not familiar with him, he's a former Navy SEAL. He currently has the Jocko podcast, as well as his own leadership consulting program. He has his own supplements. He's a very cool guy, in my opinion, with a lot of wisdom. And in Discipline Equals Freedom, he's actually debunking the notion that a more disciplined lifestyle leads to less freedom. I'm not going to reveal every secret and every story and everything in this book, but what I'm hoping is that these 5 lessons are going to help you to become more disciplined. And hey, maybe you'll even check out the book. I'm going to leave the links in the description for you to check out at the end of the video. So let's get going. Okay, lesson number 1. Doing something is better than doing nothing at all. Let's say you want to work out and you don't necessarily have a lot of time to do it. And you think, well, because I don't really have the time to do it, I would only be able to do a couple push-ups or something, or stretch for a little bit. But really, doing something is better than nothing. Sure, you're not getting that 2-hour back, bicep, shoulder stretch, full stretch, steam room experience, but just the act of doing it for a little bit and staying consistent is better than missing a day. Think about when you have to leave in 30 minutes for something and it takes 10 minutes to get there. So really you have 20 minutes to kill. You could spend those 20 minutes reading a book, but instead what you do is watch 20 minutes of YouTube videos and nothing really gets done. I can certainly vouch for the fact that I do this all the time, or even take it even less than that, 5 minutes. Rarely do I spend my 5 minutes reading a page or 2 of a book because I'm a bit of a slow reader. But truly, the more that we can get behind this and just take a little bit of time to get a little bit better, the better off we'll all be. Another example involves eating, which Jocko is big on saying, put the donut down in his book. I don't know what his gripe against donuts is, but anyway, more power to him. Let's say that it's your friend's birthday and you know that you're going to be drinking or eating a cake later. So then when you're at work and there's donuts at work, you think, well, I'm going to be eating unhealthy later, so I may as well just eat this now because I know I'm going to be unhealthy later. What he's saying is, no, just put the donut down. And if you avoid this now, avoiding that unhealthy food, which, he really gets down to it. He calls it poison. Avoiding even just a little bit is better than just going all in. Just like if you miss a day of something, it's not the end of the world. You have tomorrow to get back on track. But what happens to a lot of people is they miss a day and then it derails their whole plan. They say, well, I'm going to miss this day and I'm traveling, so I'll miss this day. And so I can't even do it. A little bit is better than nothing. Lesson number 2, the things that you want to do aren't going to do themselves. I think every creative person or every person that has an idea struggles with this. And it's ultimately the fact that actions are greater than ideas. And look, I've been there. I've had plenty of ideas for plenty of things, but rarely have I actually executed on that. And a big reason why I started this channel is to actually start implementing a lot of the ideas that I have. So if you're not already, you're going to want to subscribe. When it all comes down to it, action is greater than idea, just as results are what matter, not your intentions. Your book isn't going to write itself. Your homework isn't going to do itself. Your business idea isn't going to start itself. It's all up to you. Lesson number 3, one of my favorites. Good. I'm actually going to pull out the book for this one. So Jocko, remember, he's a former Navy SEAL. He brings up this story where a subordinate is telling him the situation, and a lot of times the situation isn't freaking good. But what does Jocko say to it every single time, regardless of good or bad? He just says, good. And at some point the subordinate catches on and he knows what Jocko's going to say every time. To which Jocko then says, well, I mean it, because that is how I operate. So I explained to him that when things are going bad, there's going to be
some good that will come from it. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. We can keep it simple. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Didn't get funded? Good. We own more of the company. Didn't get the job you wanted? Good. Go out, gain more experience, build a better resume. Got injured? Good. Needed a break from training.
That relates to me today, actually. Got tapped out? Good. It's better to tap out in training than tap out on the street. Got beat? Good. We learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. There's another really neat book by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. And I plan on making a video about that one too. So again, you're going to want to subscribe. But both Good and The Obstacle is the Way show that even when something bad happens, it's an opportunity to learn, grow, and like Jocko says, some good will come out of it, even though it doesn't seem like it will at this present moment. I can't remember the exact quote from Marcus Aurelius, the former Roman emperor, but when something bad happens to him, he says, it's good that it happened to me rather than someone else, because he has built the mental fortitude to be able to take that on. And you can strive to have that same mental fortitude, even to the point where you may even say, it's good that it happened to me because I know that I can overcome this and adapt to it. I do know that in the song Infinity by XXXTentacion and Joey Badass, there's a part in the beginning when Joey Badass says, I'd catch all the diseases in the world so the world have no more diseases. Obviously that's a little extreme, but hey, maybe it's something to strive for after all. So Jocko Willink is not nearly as intense as someone like David Goggins.
Only one motherfucking option. Stay fucking hard.
But reading through this book, he can be pretty brutal. It's like, put the donut down. And I'm like, what? I don't know. Sometimes I like donuts. Or that food is poison for you. And I'm like, I kind of like McDonald's every now and then. And it forces you to get a little more comfortable with being uncomfortable. And as you read this book, you might even be thinking of people in your own life who are maybe making excuses for you or saying, oh, it's okay. Like, you didn't need to do that, or you don't need to accomplish this thing that you want to do. But here's lesson number 4. There's always going to be an excuse, a reason not to do it, a valid reason not to do it. But you have to have the discipline to fight through. Everyone is super busy. And I completely understand. I'm not even in a position where I have kids, and I'm also not married. So I can't even fathom how busy you are as you watch this right now. Even going back to the first lesson though, a little bit is better than nothing. And it's important to try and overcome these excuses that are coming up in your life. There are plenty of people who will say, oh, well, you gave it your best shot. Or, oh, well, it just means you have to try something else. But really, if you have a passion for something, it's imperative that you give all that you can to it and try and overcome any excuses or roadblocks or things that may arise to try and stray you from the path. This is way easier said than done because of the sheer amount of things going on in our lives and the sheer amount of reasons to say, I gave it my best shot. But if we can overcome that, who knows what you can accomplish. And finally, lesson number 5, get up before the enemy and view life as having an enemy. Now, what I'm not saying, and what I'm sure that Jocko isn't saying either, is to see everyone in the world as your enemy. No, that's not a good way to live. Going back to the book, here's page 4. Jocko's talking about why he does the things that he does. He says, when I was younger, I was preparing for war. I knew that somewhere out there another man was also preparing. That man was my enemy. He was working, training, planning, and preparing to meet me on the battlefield. I didn't know when, I didn't know where, but I knew that at some point we would meet. And I wanted to be ready. Ready mentally, ready physically, ready emotionally. So I trained and I prepared and I did everything I could to be ready for that day. When I became a leader, I took the same approach, to prepare my men in the same way, to train brutally and without mercy so that we could fight brutally and without mercy. And the day came, we met the enemy on the battlefield. And then we were ready and we fought and we won. Maybe it's because I'm a fan of rivals and this concept that appears in anime a lot, that there's a rival or an enemy that we are competing against, whether it's in sports or in a battle or in business, but something about that really resonated with me. And he actually goes a little deeper into his why, his reason for doing it, but I'm going to wait for you to read the book to see what that is. It could be problematic, but I think that having a rival or someone to help you get better is a good way to think about it. And the way to start this is to get up before the enemy. And this is something that I have certainly struggled with for a very, very, very long time, and that is to get up early because maybe your enemy or your rival is getting up before you, training physically, mentally to be the best that they can be. For me, I think you're up for the challenge. Now, it's not going to be easy, but I believe that you can get up and going before the enemy to see your dreams and hopes and goals to fruition. Let me know what you think about self-discipline in the comments below. And for help on getting up before the enemy and becoming more of a morning person, I actually made a video about how I became a morning person, and you can watch it right here.